Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the heart of Genoa City's most gripping dramas. Today is a fantastic day to unpack the explosive shifts in power and desperate choices defining our favorite characters. Lily Winters has always been a pillar of strength, but the recent catastrophic events surrounding Malcolm Winters' failing health have pushed her into an entirely new stratosphere of autonomy. For years, audiences have watched Lily navigate the treacherous waters of the Winters family dynamics, often acting as the peacemaker or the supportive partner. However, the sheer desperation of watching her biological father succumb to severe aplastic anemia has ignited a dormant fire within her soul. When the universe, the legal system, and her own family conspired to delay Malcolm's only chance at survival, Lily underwent a profound metamorphosis. She is no longer the woman who waits for permission or salvation from the men in her life. The stakes have never been higher, and the ticking clock on Malcolm's life has stripped away any lingering hesitation, forcing Lily to embrace a ruthless pragmatism that has left everyone, especially Kane Ashby, completely breathless. Kane Ashby has historically operated under the assumption that he fundamentally understands the inner workings of Lily's mind, often positioning himself as her protector and savior. When the Genoa City Police Department slapped handcuffs on his wrists at the athletic club, courtesy of Victor Newman's fabricated artificial intelligence evidence, Kane immediately fell back into his familiar role. He offered grand promises, assuring Lily that his powerhouse attorney, Amanda Sinclair, would secure his release and that he would fulfill his duty to donate his bone marrow. He expected Lily to nod, to worry, and to wait patiently for him to entangle the legal web. He was entirely confident that he knew exactly how she would react to this crisis. However, Kane drastically underestimated the profound transformation that had taken place within the woman he loves, failing to recognize that trauma had fundamentally rewired her approach to crisis management. The catalyst for Lily's shocking display of independence was not just Kane's arrest, but the relentless, suffocating pressure exerted by her brother, Devin Winters. Devin has been spiraling into a dark, dictatorial rage, consumed by his own bitter custody battles and a toxic hatred for Kane. Instead of offering support during Malcolm's medical emergency, Devin chose to interrogate Lily, questioning her choices and attempting to bully her into submission. He treated her not as an equal, but as a naive pawn easily manipulated by Kane's promises. This relentless barrage of condescension and hostility from her own flesh and blood served as the final breaking point. Lily realized that relying on the justice system or the fractured loyalty of her brother would result in Malcolm's death, prompting her to silently resolve to orchestrate a solution that defied every legal and moral boundary she had previously respected. The execution of Lily's unprecedented plan left Kane in a state of absolute shock, completely shattering his preconceived notions of their dynamic. While Kane was detained, relying on legal maneuvers and empty assurances, Lily secretly mobilized a tactical mercenary extraction team. She orchestrated a breathtaking, highly illegal prison break during his medical transport, pulling Kane from the clutches of the authorities and thrusting him onto a private jet bound for New York. When Kane finally processed the magnitude of what had just transpired, he was forced to confront a staggering reality. The woman sitting across from him in the clouds was not a damsel in distress waiting for her knight. She was a formidable queen who had just flipped the entire chessboard. Lily had taken matters entirely into her own hands, executing a flawless, daring operation that proved she was leagues ahead of everyone who thought they could control her. This revelation forces Kane to undergo a massive psychological recalibration regarding his entire future. For so long, their relationship was defined by his missteps and his subsequent efforts to win back her trust and protect her from the fallout. Now, he must grapple with the fact that Lily has evolved into a woman who fundamentally does not need him to save her. She acted with a level of calculated audacity that left him scrambling to keep up. Kane realizes that the woman he loves has been doing her own thinking, plotting, and executing while he was busy making promises he could not immediately keep. This is a Lily Winters who absolutely refuses to be bullied by the police, by Victor Newman's corporate machinations, or by her own brother's toxic vendettas. Kane must shed his outdated perceptions and accept this fiercely independent and compromising version of Lily if he hopes to stand by her side. Crystal Cowell delivers an absolute masterclass in subtle, powerful acting throughout this transformative arc. She infuses Lily with a quiet, terrifying resolve that radiates through the screen, proving that true strength does not always require shouting or theatrics. Cowell masterfully portrays the internal calculus of a woman weighing the life of her father against her own freedom, showcasing a steely determination that commands absolute respect. Her performance captures the exact moment Lily stops being a victim of circumstance and becomes the architect of her own destiny. The nuanced shifts in her facial expressions, transitioning from the devastation of Kane's arrest to the cold, calculating focus of planning his escape, are nothing short of brilliant. This is the empowered, unstoppable energy that fans have been desperately craving, and Khalil's portrayal ensures that the audience is completely captivated by every single decision Lily makes. The dynamic between Lily and Kane has been permanently altered by these staggering events. The passionate kiss they shared amidst the chaos of the extraction was not just a reunion, it was an acknowledgement of their new reality. Kane is looking at a woman who risked federal prison to ensure he could save her father, a woman who proved her devotion not through words, but through staggering, dangerous action. He can no longer rely on the old patterns of their romance. He must step up and meet her on this new, elevated playing field where she holds the ultimate authority. The days of Lily waiting anxiously by the phone are over. Kane must accept Lily exactly as she is in the present moment, a brilliant, daring, and fiercely autonomous force of nature, rather than clinging to the idealized, dependent version of her that he once knew. While Lily Winters is soaring through the clouds, claiming her autonomy and defying the world, Nick Newman is trapped in a suffocating, subterranean nightmare that is systematically stripping away his humanity. The contrast between their current trajectories is as stark as it is heartbreaking. Nick is currently enduring the absolute darkest chapter of his life, imprisoned against his will in a heavily fortified, isolated wing of the Newman Ranch. This is not a voluntary journey toward healing. This is a brutal, authoritarian kidnapping orchestrated by his own father. Victor Newman, operating under a terrifyingly twisted definition of tough love, has locked his son in a cage to force a rapid, agonizing withdrawal from fentanyl. Nick has been completely severed from the outside world, isolated from the people he loves, and left to battle the excruciating physical and psychological demons of addiction in total, unyielding darkness. The psychological torture Nick is enduring within those reinforced walls is almost unimaginable. He is not only fighting the blinding, visceral agony of chemical withdrawal, but he is also drowning in a sea of betrayal. The knowledge that his own brother, Adam Newman, interrogated him, uncovered his darkest secrets, and then handed that information directly to Victor feels like a knife twisting in his gut. Adam's betrayal was the catalyst for this nightmare, transforming Nick's desperate, drug-fueled plot to murder Matt Clark into a one-way ticket to Victor's private purgatory. Every drop of sweat, every tremor, and every hallucination is compounded by the suffocating realization that his family views him as a broken liability that needs to be chained and fixed. Nick is fighting for his sanity, his dignity, and his very soul, completely devoid of the support system he so desperately needs. As the physical agony peaks and the walls of his confinement seem to close in, Nick reaches a terrifying epiphany regarding his survival. He realizes that he cannot survive this cage through sheer willpower alone. As the strictness of Victor's regime is designed to break him down completely and force compliance through absolute deprivation. Nick understands that to reclaim his life, to escape the crushing weight of his father's control, he must make a choice that defies everything he stands for. He needs leverage, he needs an ally, or at the very least, he needs a momentary escape from the relentless torment. The desperation of a man backed into a corner by his own blood pushes Nick to contemplate a path he would never consider in his right mind. He is preparing to cross a line, fully aware that the consequences of his next move could permanently alter the trajectory of his life. Driven by a primal need for survival, Nick makes a profoundly dangerous deal, a choice steeped in risk and shrouded in moral ambiguity. This is not a simple transaction, it is a pact made in the shadows, born of desperation and fueled by the blinding pain of withdrawal. Whether he is manipulating one of Victor's heavily armed guards, tapping into a dark, hidden resource, or making a terrifying compromise with his own fractured psyche, the agreement comes with strings that are hopelessly tangled and potentially lethal. Nick is trading pieces of his soul for a sliver of leverage, stepping into a dangerous game where the rules are written by predators. He knows that whatever promises he makes in this bunker will follow him into the light, demanding a price he may not be able to pay. This is a deal that cannot be easily severed, setting the stage for a catastrophic fallout. Joshua Morrow's performance throughout this harrowing storyline is nothing short of a revelation, marking some of the absolute best work of his illustrious career. He strips away the polished veneer of the Newman air, delivering a raw, visceral, and deeply unsettling portrayal of a man consumed by addiction and rage. Morrow captures the frantic, terrifying energy of withdrawal with chilling authenticity, making the audience feel every ounce of Nick's physical pain and emotional despair. His portrayal of Nick's internal conflict, the war between the desire to heal and the desperate, gnawing hunger for escape, is profoundly moving. When Nick finally makes his dangerous choice, Morrow's eyes convey a tragic mix of defeat and terrifying resolve. It is a performance that anchors the entire narrative, forcing viewers to confront the ugly, devastating realities of addiction and the devastating impact of Victor's ruthless brand of love. As a dedicated observer of these characters' lives, watching this week's events unfold has been a deeply emotional and subjective experience. There is a profound, almost uncomfortable vulnerability in witnessing Nick Newman, a man who has always tried to be the moral center of his family, reduced to such a desperate, agonizing state by the very people who claim to love him. It evokes a genuine sense of sorrow and frustration, a poignant reminder of how easily the foundations of our lives can crumble under the weight of trauma and addiction. Conversely, seeing Lily rise from the ashes of her family's chaos to claim her power brings a soaring, triumphant joy. It is incredibly moving to watch a woman refuse to be a casualty of the men around her, choosing instead to forge her own dangerous, beautiful path. These storylines resonate deeply because they reflect our own deepest fears of losing control, and our greatest hopes of finding the strength to take it back. The landscape of Genoa City has been irrevocably shattered by the choices made this week, leaving a trail of beautiful destruction and terrifying uncertainty in their wake. Lily Winters has successfully rewritten the rules of her own life, forcing Kane Ashby to step into a new, uncharted era of their romance where she holds the reins. Her breathtaking independence has saved a life, but the wrath of Devin Winters and the authorities still looms large on the horizon. Meanwhile, Nick Newman's dangerous deal in the dark recesses of the Newman Ranch has opened a major, perilous new chapter. The strings attached to his desperate pact threaten to pull him deeper into the abyss, setting him on a collision course with Victor's authoritarian regime. As autonomy clashes with captivity, the fallout from these explosive decisions will change everything, creating a hook that guarantees you will not want to miss a single second of the drama that awaits.